Black History Month, and every week we're highlighting events and people who helped make our country what it is today. Joining us now to talk a little bit about that is the Honorable Judge Derek Mosley. So, Judge Mosley, this all started with your Facebook page.
It actually did. I started putting out messages on Facebook. I figure generally it's 28 days. We have 29 this year, but 28 days. I would put out 28 different facts just to get people interested in Black history.
Okay, so you highlighted two gentlemen that have strong ties here to Milwaukee. Can we start with Ezekiel Gillespie, who buried at Forest Home Cemetery?
Yeah, sure. So Ezekiel Gillespie is a great story. He was a slave in Tennessee. He had actually purchased his freedom to leave. He left Tennessee and he moved to Wisconsin, actually to Milwaukee. He opened up a grocery store and was selling groceries, and he became like a pillar of the community. And one day he decided, you know what, I'm going to go vote. And he went in 1850s, went to City Hall, because where you did your voting, walked in, said, I'm here to vote. My name is Ezekiel Gillespie, and they turned him away.
So he filed a lawsuit.
Right, filed a lawsuit, went all the way up to the Wisconsin Supreme Court, and the Wisconsin Supreme Court said, yeah, he should be able to vote. And this happened in 1865, which is 5 years before the 15th Amendment, which gave the right to vote to all people based on race and creed. And it's just amazing that Wisconsin was on the forefront of this, yet it's something that we don't teach in our schools.
Okay, and then Mr. Gillespie was also involved, right, with the Joshua Glover story, and freeing him from the jail. That I've walked by this plaque so many times at Cathedral Square. I never really knew the significance of it.
People don't even know. So the Joshua Glover plaque is on the north side, the northeast side of the park.
So right across from the church there.
Right across from the church, yep. And the plaque's there, and it's a local, so it's a state historic marker, and there's going to be a move to make it a national historic marker. But Joshua Glover is a great story. You have a young man who was a slave in St. Louis, Missouri, worked on a farm. One day in 1852, he just said, I'm leaving. And he took off and actually walked from St. Louis to Racine, Wisconsin.
Okay. But then he ended up in jail in Milwaukee.
Yeah, so he's in Racine, and there was a law called the Fugitive Slave Act. And it was a federal law that basically said, if you find an escaped slave, you have to alert, if the owner knows where they are, the U.S. Marshals comes and gets them and then transports them back to the state where they came from. So that's what happened. They came on a late night. It was raining. They found Joshua in a home that he was staying in. And instead of taking a carriage back to St. Louis, they went to Milwaukee to hold him in the jail so they could leave the next morning when weather was supposed to be better.
And that jail was right where the plaque is, right? And then folks broke in and they freed him.
Yep, so every time you go to Jazz in the Park, that was the actual courthouse. The courthouse and jail were right there, yeah. And about 5,000 residents from Milwaukee, black and white, literally bum rushed the jail, pulled them out, and put them on the Underground Railroad all the way up to Canada.
Judge Mosley.
It's an unbelievable story.
Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
No, my pleasure. I'm so happy that you gave me this opportunity.
He's going to be back every Wednesday, right?
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday he'll be back to talk Black History Month.